Hey guys, Brandon Cunningham here, and I'm excited to be able to talk to you today a little bit about some things that we've learned along the way, some mistakes that we've made in hopes that we can fast track your business. And for the most part, we're going to be talking about ways that you'll never run out of people to talk to. I mean, I think that's a fear that most people have. I know we had that fear when we first got started. I didn't think I knew that many people, and so I thought my success was going to be determined by the people that I currently knew. And so we're going to talk about the people that you know now, and also how to find what most people call the cold market and turn them into a warm market. So, question for you though, to kind of start this thing off. Think about your last 90 days in the business. And the question I have for you is, have you enrolled as many people in the last 90 days in your business as your first 90 days? And I know the answer for most is no. And so then the question then becomes, why? And for some of you, you may be thinking, well, it's because I knew more people in my first 90 days. There was a lot of people I wanted to talk to about, and I kind of have run out of people to talk to. And if that's the case, as I said earlier, I kind of felt the same way, that my success was going to be determined by my initial list. And my initial list was really small, really small. And that was not because I didn't know a lot of people. It was because there wasn't a lot of people that I was ready to tell about this. That's another subject about our belief and our products and our company. But what I found out is it's a myth to think that your success is determined by the people you know when you first became a distributor at LifeVantage. In fact, we have found that most of your more successful distributors in network marketing, and you define what success is, most of those people found success with people that they didn't know when they first signed up as a distributor. So they found other people to talk to. So we're also going to talk today about what you should be excited about in your business, or in other words, how to know what's going to happen in your business before it happens. We're going to give you a few things that you can watch or look for in your business that will determine your future growth. So I'm excited to jump into this with you today. All right, so let's first start with your warm market, or the people that you know, maybe not intimately, but at least you know their first name. You run into them at the grocery store or at school or throughout life, and it's people that you know and you can put a name on a list. The reason that initial list is so powerful is that there's already some form of a relationship in place. And where there's relationships, there's normally some level of trust or a lot of trust, and those people are willing to listen to you more so than a stranger off of the street. And so when you're developing that first list, try not to prejudge. And if you're having a hard time coming up with names, I know I did, right? I told you that. We had a hard time coming up with names. It made it a little bit easier for us when we started to create kind of some categories of what people might fall in. For instance, we created a list of people that were health conscious or concerned with their health. They worked out, maybe they'd been on some diets or so. And I try not to overwhelm distributors. And so why don't you just start with a list of 20, right? So just put 20 names of people who you know are interested in their health at some degree. Next list we made was a list of 20 people that we knew may have an interest in the business of network marketing. So who might that be? People that own their own business is a great place to start. People that maybe in passing conversations have told you that they would like to own their own business, or maybe have voiced their frustration that they currently have with employment, maybe some problems. And so you can imagine that list is probably pretty big. It shouldn't be too hard to find 20 names for people who may be interested in the business. And the list that I think is most powerful, although the list most people sometimes avoid, is their friends list, the people who, as I say, know where the bathrooms are in your house. I said that not too long ago, and someone was like, well, what's that mean? It just means they've been to your house. It just means that they're comfortable in your house. It means that they have a higher level of trust in you just through relation. You guys have done things together. And that's really the list to start with. Put 20 of those names down, because those are the people that are going to hear about this one way or another, right? So put those 20 people down. So you'll want to invite into those three categories a little bit differently. Your product invite will be different than your business invite, and your invite to your friends list of the people that have been to your homes will be a little bit differently as well. But for today, we're not talking about our training on, per se, the invite itself, but more about your warm list, how to start databasing, because your database is extremely important to your success in this business, whether it's, as we said, your warm list or people that you may not know so well. So that warm list is extremely important to your early success. It's where most people will find their first customers. And just so you guys know out there, it took my wife and I 3 weeks. So we're Master Pro 10s, as I said. It took us 3 weeks to get our first enrollment, and it felt like 3 years to get our first enrollment. I wondered if I was saying things wrong. I wondered if I was crazy. I wondered if people thought I was crazy. So just know that timing is everything in this business, and that will lead us into this next subject of how do you turn your cold market, or people that you really don't know, into your warm market. So while it's true that your warm market is important to launching your business and kind of getting out of the gates, more important for your overall success in this business is your cold market, or people that you don't even know right now. So people that aren't on your original list, more than likely will be the people that would help you grow this business in a big way. And so when I ask people many times, what they want out of this business, the responses are all over the place. But a lot of times people will say, well, I just want to help some people. I want to help people. And then I'll ask them, do you want to help a little amount of people, or do you want to help a lot of people? And the answer is almost always, well, I would like to help a lot of people. And my response to that is, great. You're going to have to then know how to turn your cold market into your warm market, because your warm market list may be 100 people, 200 people, maybe some of you know more than that. That's your warm market. But think about, in the grand scheme of things, of 100 or 200 people to the population of the earth. If you want to help a lot of people, it's really important that you develop the skills to develop relationships so that you can help potentially thousands of people or tens of thousands of people. And so I like to teach and personally use a process that I call mapping. And it's just a way of documenting throughout the day my conversations. And when doing so, it allows me to have material or content, things to talk about with people who may be strangers to me when I first meet them. But if you're listening and you're paying attention, it's been said that it's much more important to be interested than interesting. So what that simply means is that you're listening more than you're talking. And I would suggest that you are taking notes, because memory is usually short term, and this opportunity rewards people who have large databases and are able to recall information on a personal level that makes an impact with people. So for instance, let me just give you a couple examples from the corporate team that I have, documented in my mind, because it's people that we were with on a weekly basis. And some of you may know some of these folks. So let's start with Kelly Rich. For instance, I know Kelly Rich. She's an animal lover, right? So I could have a conversation with Kelly about animals. I know she likes dogs. I also know she likes the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So do I. So I could have conversations with her. Now, Kelly could be a stranger, and within just a few interactions, we could be having kind of a meaningful conversation if Kelly was a stranger, right? Colton Smith. So I was actually just talking to him about this, and when I did say these things to him, he kind of was like surprised that I knew. And that's the point, right? So I know Colton Smith is a fan of BYU, right? I know this. I also know that he's adventurous. In fact, he went jumping out of an airplane, parachuted out of an airplane, right? Skydiving. And I know that was about 6 years ago. And so when I said that to him, he was kind of surprised that I knew that. And it was simply because he's like, wow, he kind of knows a little bit about me. And this isn't in a creepy way. You can do this in a very cool way where people take notice of you. And it's easy then to take this conversation from cold market conversations to a warm market conversation. So let's talk about Skylar Fobbs. I know he's 28 years old, originally from San Francisco, a fan of the San Francisco 49ers and the Utah Jazz. So I can have conversations with Skylar about San Francisco, the West Coast, or the Utah Jazz, right? And what about Stephen Irvin? I know he played football for Arizona State, but his wife is a big fan of Ohio State. So I don't know how that's working out in your family, Stephen. Also know that his youngest son's name is Bryce, and he likes to cut up quite a bit. So these are just examples of people, of course, that I know. They're not strangers to me, but it's facts that I know that you can also apply to people that you run into through your daily activities. Or I'll tell you, to me, the place that you can go to where this information is readily available and you will never run out of contacts, and that's in social media. Social media will allow you to take a look into people's lives because they're putting it out there. We're putting that information out there, and the information that they're putting out is information that's important to them. And so this is all about having conversations. This is about being able to reach out to someone that you may not know very well or not at all, and very quickly have them feeling as if you've known each other for a long time. And so if you'll do that in social media, and this doesn't take hours of your day to do it. In fact, I would suggest that you schedule your time and be intentional about it. Like, I'm going to take an hour today and I'm going to go out and map or document 10 people. 10 people that potentially I would want in my business. And you should know what type people you want in your business. Who do you want to do this business with? And there are thousands of those people out in social media world that are putting content out on a daily basis of things that are important to them. And as you document these things, and it's up to you to decide what format you're going to document in, whether it's, old school, pen and paper, or maybe some type of electronic way of doing it, digital way of doing it. That's not important. That you have to find your way there. But what is important is that you're constantly adding people to your database. And if you do so, then you're always going to have people to talk to. And so by mapping people out, finding out what's interesting to them, you're able to have meaningful conversations with people. And the rule of thumb that I use is 10. I try to document or map 10 contacts per day. So that means I'm engaging in 10 new conversations every day. And that's what this business is about. This business isn't about just throwing information out to people and them getting it the very first time. In fact, this is very much about being in the right place at the right time, this business. And that's why follow-up is so important. So I call it reaching out to people. Following up, to me, is what you do once you've already invited them to the LifeVantage information, whatever that might be, the product or the business. That's a follow-up. That's not exactly what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is reaching out to people to engage in conversations that will eventually allow you to have that conversation about LifeVantage so that they're interested in knowing more about you. And so I do 10 a day, and if you'll do that, you'll never run out of contacts, and you will blow people away when you are able to recall information about them personally, and if you really want to hit a home run. Like if you really want to take someone from cold market to warm market in conversations that are meaningful to them, talk about their family. because family to everybody kind of hits their heart. And when you are interested in them and their family, that's a whole nother level, guys. And you will soon be having meaningful conversations that will eventually give you the opportunity to talk about LifeVantage and our amazing products and business opportunity. So now that we've talked about potentially how to take someone from the cold market to the warm market, and eventually we're in the right place at the right time, we invite them to LifeVantage and they say yes. Okay, they're now in our business. We tend sometimes to get really excited based on potential, because maybe they know a lot of people, or they're the type person that's influential, and so we're really excited about what they're going to do in the business. And more times than not, what I have found over the last 10 years in this business is that the people that come into your business that have had success in prior things aren't necessarily going to have extreme success at LifeVantage or in network marketing. So after having many parts of our business where I felt discouraged because I thought, man, I just thought this person was just going to kill it, and they didn't. I started to try and figure out, well, who should I be excited about? And it's really, I've narrowed it down to two types or two activities, behaviors of people that will help you grow a big business and help lots of other people. And the first one is people that are helping do what you do, and that is inviting people and presenting this information to others. If you want to help a small group of people, then you do all the work yourself. If you want to help lots of people, it's about teamwork and watching how many people are doing presentations. And a presentation can be on different type platforms. When we started 10 years ago, we weren't on social media. In fact, social media was just kind of getting going 10 years ago. Our presentations were in people's homes. Our presentations were at coffee shops, or maybe in some small hotel rooms is where we had presentations. And as I began to track how many presentations, how many I was doing, and also how many presentations were happening inside of my organization, I started to really identify the people who were having success. The people who were doing more presentations were always having more success than people who were not doing presentations. And so you may get a influencer into your organization, or someone that knows lots of people, and you get really excited about them. But who you should be excited about are the people who are willing to do what you are doing. And that is presenting the LifeVantage products and opportunity to them. So that's the first thing. Look for people who are actually doing presentations. And as I said, we did it years ago, kneecap to kneecap. Today, we do presentations all the time online, through Zoom. You can do presentations through social media. It's anywhere where you have an audience. That's a presentation, whether the audience is one person or tens of people or thousands of people. Wherever the LifeVantage products and business opportunity is being presented, that's a presentation. And so document as a gauge. Your automobile has gauges. It just gives you an idea of what the future looks like. So if the gauge is on E, the future, if you don't get gas, is not good for your ability to move the car. And the same thing in your business when it comes to presentations. If you're the only one doing presentations and you've been in the business 5 years from now, then you should really try to do your best to get people to start presenting. That's another training that you should look into ways to get that done. The second thing that we've documented to know what our business is going to look like 90 days from now is by people attending events. So the first thing is presentations. So the more people that are doing presentations, 90 days from now, your business will reflect that in growth. And the same thing applies to events. And I'll start with the big ones, like Elite Academy, or the biggest is convention. And we know now that convention's happening on a yearly basis. And we like to call those destination events. So whether it's convention or an Elite Academy, or the next one that's coming up is in Cancun, Mexico, that's a destination event for most of our distributors. the more people you get there, for instance, if you're able to get more people to that event in Cancun than you had at Long Beach, your business will reflect that in growth more times than not. That's what we have been able to determine, is when we bring more people to events, our business always grows. If we're bringing about the same amount of people to events, our business kind of stays the same. And when we had less people at an event than we had before, our volume in our business pulled back. And there's psychological reasons behind that, mainly belief. Everything we do in life is based on belief. And these two things together work together. So getting people to events raises belief. Belief enough for some that they are willing to do presentations. And as those presentations are done, you're going to find more people that are willing to go to events. So the events help people present, and the presentations get more people to events. It's a really nice cycle. So if you want to know what your business is going to look like 90 days from now, take a hard look at how many people are doing presentations in your organization. And you should be excited that if the next month you have just one more person doing a presentation next month than you did this month, that should excite you. Or if you find a person that comes into your business that's willing to do a presentation, forget their background. That should excite you. People get excited about the wrong things in this business. Get excited about someone doing presentations, and get excited when people go to our destination events. Also, we've got local events, we've got regional events coming up. That's going to be a phenomenal way to track your business, as well as local meetings that are going on. It all boils down to one thing, guys, and that's sacrifice. When you have someone in your organization that's making sacrifices to be a part of this business, that should be a big indicator to you that they want this. They want it really bad. And when you find somebody that wants this and you find enough of them, then your business will grow. So those are two things that you can look at that will help you gauge what your business is going to look like 90 days from now. So I hope this information is helpful to you. I have shared information with you today, not out of theory, but out of experience. This is what we have noticed over the last 10 years that's helped us get to where we are in the business of network marketing, and there is no better company in network marketing than LifeVantage to be a part of. I'm excited for you, and I hope to meet you at the next event in Cancun. For now, see ya.